Chickens are farmed, cows are farmed, even fruits and vegetables are farmed. And there are questions on the environmental aspects on all of those things. But most people don't really talk about farm fish, especially salmon. Salmon has been a very popular type of fish over the past 2 years and are a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which helps lowers the risk of heart disease. But because of their recent popularity, there have been some debate over sustainable practices of fishing salmon. Here today we have nutritional expert Ume talking about the sustainability concerns regarding farmed salmon.
Thanks, Jamie. Most people are unaware of the health and environmental risks that are associated with the consumption of farmed salmon compared to wild salmon and other seafood sources that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. We as humans have learned to fish long before we have learned how to farm and grow fruits and vegetables and even domesticate animals. Due to the high consumption and demand for salmon within recent years, there has been a problem with meeting the supply and demand of wild-caught salmon. As a solution for this, farming salmon has become a much more convenient and cheaper alternative. However, this has had some detrimental effects to the environment and our health as human beings.
So, Ume, what exactly is the difference between farmed and wild salmon?
Good question, Jamie. The first major difference between the two types is that farm salmon are raised in a net cage contained system and is produced industrially, whereas wild-caught salmon are caught and found in their natural habitat by fishermen. Farm salmon also consumes different nutrients compared to wild salmon. Wild salmon has more nutritional value over farm salmon and contains more nutrients such as calcium, iron, potassium, and zinc. Statistics also show that farm salmon carries more than 3 times the amount of saturated fat as wild salmon.
Ume, I'm curious about how salmon has become so easily available and at such reasonable prices.
Well, salmon farms' main objective is to produce salmon in mass quantities and as cheaply as possible. Research has shown that in less than 2 decades, salmon production has grown from about 50,000 metric tons in 1985 to over 1.2 million metric tons in 2003. Farmed salmon is more affordable because it takes a shorter amount of time to raise, making it less labor-intensive. Additionally, there is a standardized system in place, making it easy to implement those practices in salmon farms. With such a large quantity of salmon being produced, this has caused various environmental issues.
So, what are some environmental problems associated with an increased consumer demand for salmon?
One environmental issue is that diseases and parasites can reach epidemic proportions in the net cages, whereas in the wild there are lower proportions. Another environmental problem is that there is an excessive use of chemicals. Specifically, there's an abundance in the use of pesticides and antibiotics. The New York Times reported that to produce a ton of salmon, 70 to 300 times more antibiotics are being used in Chile than in Norway. And these may be a threat to human health. An additional environmental issue that is of concern is the immense amount of pollution that is produced due to the excess of food that is given to farm salmon and their waste accumulation. This causes an increase in the harmful levels of nutrients in the water. In an effort to practice sustainable methods and be environmentally friendly, consumers can purchase wild salmon over farm salmon.
So, Ume, what are some tips and tricks to help distinguish between wild-caught salmon and farm-raised salmon?
Some distinct features to look out for when purchasing salmon are that wild-caught salmon, such as the one that I have right here, are leaner in fat, cleaner, and they are a naturally deeper shade of red or orange. Whereas farm salmon that I have right here, their flesh is a lighter pink, and it is not as orange in color, and they have a higher fat content, which is represented by the thicker lines that are going across.
Those are some helpful tips to look out for. Now, I'm aware of the impacts that farmed salmon has on both the environment and our health. I'll definitely keep them in mind the next time I'm caught between purchasing farmed salmon and wild salmon.
Thanks!